See the life now? Triratrante Kapita Badarashanaha Atmavidyānusārena Māsam Ninyere Chayan Harim. Three, Ratrante, at the end of night. Three, Ratrante, at the end of night. Kapita Badara, fruits and berries. Asnaha, eating. Atmavritti, just to preserve the body. Anusarena, as it was necessary. Minimum, Masam, 1 month. Ninye, passed away. Archayan, worshipping. Harim, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation: for the first month, Dhruva Maharaj had only fruits and berries on every third day, only to keep his body and soul together. And this way he progressed in his worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please respond. For the first month, Dhruva Maharaj had only fruits and berries on every third day, only to keep his body and soul together. And this way, he progressed in his worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Kapita is a flower which is known in Indian vernacular as Kayata. We do not find an English equivalent for the name of this flower, but its fruit is generally not accepted by human beings. It is eaten by monkeys in the forest. Dhruva Maharaj, however, accepted such fruits not for luxurious feasting, but just to keep his body and soul together. The body needs food, but the devotee should not accept foodstuff to satisfy the tongue in sense gratification. It is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita that one should accept as much food as necessary to keep the body fit, but one should not eat for luxury. Dhruva Maharaj is an acharya, and by undergoing severe austerities and penances, he teaches us how one should execute devotional service. We must carefully follow the process of Dhruva Maharaj's service. How severely he passes days will be shown in the later verses. We should always remember that to become a bona fide devotee of the Lord is not an easy task. But in this age, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, it has been made very easy. But if we do not follow even the liberal instructions of Lord Chaitanya, how can we expect to discharge our regular duties in devotional service? It is not possible in this age to follow Dhruva Maharaj in his austerity, but the principle must be followed. We should not disregard the regulative principles given by our spiritual master, for they make it easier for the conditioned soul. As far as our ISKM movement is concerned, we simply ask that one observe the 4 prohibitive rules, chant 16 rounds, and instead of indulging in luxurious eating for the tongue, simply accept prasada offered to the Lord. This does not mean that with our fasting, the Lord should also fast. The Lord should be given foodstuff which is as nice as possible, but we should not make it a point to satisfy our own tongue. As far as possible, we should accept simple foodstuff just to keep the body and soul together, to execute devotional service. It is our duty to remember always that in comparison to Dhruva Maharaj, we are insignificant. We cannot do anything like what Dhruva Maharaj did for self-realization, because we are absolutely incompetent to execute such service. But by Lord Chaitanya's mercy, we have been given all concession possible for this age. So at least we should always remember that neglect of our prescribed duty in devotional service will not make us successful in the mission we have undertaken. It is our duty to follow in the footsteps of Dhruva Maharaj, for he was very determined. We should also be determined to finish our duties in executing devotional service in this life. We should not wait for another life to finish our job. For the first month, Guru Maharaj had only fruits and berries on every third day, only to keep his body and soul together, and in this way he progressed in worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vama Jnana Timirandasya Gnanam Janashalakaya Chakshusam Militam Yena Tasmai Veda Sri Chaitanya Vado Vishnu Satitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamam Dadati Swaparandikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sikajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Sadhi Shadvitam Shavadutam Parijinam Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Dev Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakanvitam Shya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Apta Kanchana Gurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shavana Sadevi Pranamame Hare Priya Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha titanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Namaram Vishnu Padayam Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Tinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Shri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, thank you very much for joining us on this Srimad Bhagavatam class, chapter Canto 4, chapter 8, text 72. So it's a very interesting point to note that we have been following. The first thing is that Dhruva Maharaj, he went to the forest to practice devotional service. So this is also a very important point, that one has to first learn how to completely depend on the mercy of the Lord. And in this way, only one can become fearless. One cannot become fearless if he has some material attachment. Because material attachment brings about all these bad qualities. And primarily the number one bad quality is fear. The moment we turn away from the Lord, then we are engulfed with fear. You understand? So because he is determined to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, so therefore he became fearless. This is the point that is explained in this verse. This is how it was determined. Etam sa astaya paratmanistam adisritam purvatmai maharishibir aham tarishyami duranta param tamo mukundangiri niseva eva. I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of Nisayan by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. This was approved by the previous acharyas who were fixed in the firm determination, firm devotion to the Lord, Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he says this is an important point. Another point is, you can explain here in this Bhayam 11. Bhayam Tivitya Abhiniveshatahasya Visada Petasya Viparya Yosmeti Tan Mayato Buddha Abhajatam Bhaktevaka Yesam Guru Devatma. Fear arises when the living entity misidentifies himself with the material body. Because of absorption in the external illusory energy of the Lord, when the living entity thus turns away from the Supreme Lord, he also forgets his own constitutional position as a servant of the Lord. This bewildering, fearful condition is affected by the potency of illusion, called Maya. Therefore, an intelligent person should engage unflinchingly in the unalloyed devotional service of the Lord, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, whom he should accept as worshipable deity, as his very life and soul. So the second point is that Guru Maharaj accepted a spiritual master. Because he accepted Narada Muni as a spiritual master, he completely surrendered to him, and therefore he became fearless. Imagine a 5-year-old boy going to the forest. Some 5-year-old boy will wander in the dark. Can you imagine going to the forest alone? This can only happen if he has complete faith in the spiritual master and Krishna. Because when we speak about God, God does not reveal to you like that. So as many people say, God nobody knows. It's a fact, nobody knows. But those who know, then only they can get the strength. Just like when Prahlad Maharaj, he was burned, correct? He was what? Tortured by snakes, he was trampled, he was thrown over the cliff. How did he endure all this? He was also a 5-year-old boy. How did he endure? Because he was in touch with the Supreme Lord. So because he was always with the Lord, he had no fear. You understand? You don't have any fear. This is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Because he was in touch with the Lord. See here, Vittaraga Bhaya Krodha Manmaya Mam Upashritaha Bahavo Jnana Tapasha Puta Madbhavam Agataha. Being freed from attachment, you see the word fear. Being freed from attachment, material attachment, and fear and anger, being fully absorbed in me, taking refuge in me, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attained transcendental love for me. So unless you are connected to Krishna, you cannot become free from fear and anger. Because naturally when you are frightened, you become angry. Yes? Correct? Anybody touch you, you are in shock. Yes? Is it not? So you see how these are very binding. Material world is an illusory place. Everything is fearful. We do not know what's going to happen. See? And same point is also explained in, what is that? Bhakti Yogi and one. Yashyaham vai sruyamanayam Krishne parama puruse bhakti utpadyete pumsaha soka moha bhayapaha. You see this word? Soka moha bhayapaha. What does this mean? Simply by giving oral reception of the Vedic literature, the feeling for loving devotional service to Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sprouts up at once to extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion and fearfulness. So unless and until you are connected to Krishna, there is no question of coming out of this entanglement. That's not possible. That is not possible. That's why fear, the material world is a fearful place. But the spiritual world is an enlightening place. In the spiritual world, there's no fear. There's no fear. See? There are many incidences how this is shown. The coward boys were going into Aghasura mouth. They were going inside and they were saying, no worry because Krishna will protect us. They are going into the mouth with so much confidence that Krishna will protect us. Just like the Snavi song, what is that? Baya Hari. What is that? Braja? It's not the song. Braja Baya Hari. Braja? Braja? Braja Jana Baya Hari. So that they are not frightened. Understand? In fact, Krishna is Bibhayate Swayam Bhayam. Fear runs away from Krishna. You follow? So this quality can only be coming about when we get ourselves connected to the spiritual master, and through the spiritual master we get connected to Krishna. You understand? This point has to be understood. If we are not connected to Krishna, then we are always going to live in lamentation, illusion and fearfulness. You cannot escape that. You cannot. And finally death. Death is also very fearful. Yes, everybody is frightened of it. But a devotee, he is not frightened. A devotee is what? Not frightened with that. You follow? Because the Lord, He protects the devotees. The Lord what? Protects the devotees. Just like Bhishmadev was saying that Krishna was so careful to give what? Arjuna all protection. In the war, Krishna was giving him all protection. If Krishna did not protect him, he would be finished. In 1-9 something. You got it? 1-9 something that Bhishmadev, he was so carefully protecting Arjuna. What is it? 1-9-35. 39. See here. At the moment of death, let my ultimate attraction to be to Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. I concentrate mine upon the chariot driver Arjuna, who stood with the whip in his right hand and a bridle rope in his left, who was very careful to give protection to Arjuna's chariot by all means. And those who saw him on the battlefield of Kurukshetra attained the original form of the death. See how much Krishna, even you see him, you escape from death. By seeing him, nothing much. You follow? See how much Krishna is so much dedicated that if you connect with him, then everything is over. Yes? Understand? That's how Krishna protects his devotee. And fear cannot come into the heart of the devotee. Guru Maharaj, he was very much fearless. This is one of the quality of the devotee. He becomes fearless. It doesn't mean that he becomes fearless and does things whimsically. He becomes fearless and he obeys the order of the Lord through the spiritual master. And that is also required, It's not that you become, somewhat whimsical personality and do anything you like. What? See here in this verse, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all the obstacles of conditioned life by my grace. If however you do not work in such consciousness but act through false ego, not hearing me, you will be lost. So it doesn't mean that you come and say, Krishna, I surrender. As many people whimsically think, if I surrender to Krishna, and I can do anything and the Lord will endorse. This is not a philosophy. It doesn't mean that you can surrender to God and do whatever you like. That is, we have to learn how to act according to the instruction of Guru and Krishna. You understand? What is favorable to Krishna, we must execute. What is not favorable, we cannot execute. You understand? Devotional service is based on this understanding that we are what? Following the sadhu, shastra and guru. We cannot try to whimsically, that is a very interesting point here, that Durva Maharaj, he practiced austerity, controlling the senses. Doesn't mean that I come to Krishna consciousness mean I can eat as much, sleep as much, do everything ridiculously. No, that is not. You understand? And that is explained here in the verse, you see. In the Bhagavad Gita it is explained here, there is no possibility of one becoming a yogi, O Arjuna, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. See? It has to be regulated. You have to be what? Regulated. In the purport, Prabhupada is explaining, regulation of diet and sleep is recommended herein for the yogi. Too much eating means more than is required to keep the body and soul together. There is no need for man to eat animals because there is ample supply of grains, vegetables, fruits and milk. Such simple foodstuff is considered to be the mode of goodness according to the Bhagavad Gita. Animal food is for those in the mode of ignorance. Therefore, those who indulge in animal food, drinking, smoking and eating food which is not first offered to Krishna will suffer sinful reaction because of eating only polluted things. Bunchate te kaham papa e pachanti atma karanan. Anyone who eats for sense pleasure or cooks it for himself, not offering his food to Krishna, eats only sin. One who eats sin and eats more than is allotted to him cannot execute perfect yoga. It is best that one eat only the remnants of foodstuff offered to Krishna. A person in Krishna consciousness does not eat anything which is not first offered to Krishna. Therefore, only the Krishna conscious person can attain perfection in yoga practice. Nor can one who artificially abstain from eating, manufacture his own personal process of fasting, practice yoga. The Krishna conscious person observes fasting as it is recommended in the scriptures. He does not fast or eat more than is required and is thus competent to perform yoga practice. One who eats more than is required will dream very much while sleeping, and he must consequently sleep more than is required. One should not sleep more than 6 hours daily. One who sleeps more than 6 hours out of 24 hours is certainly influenced by the mode of ignorance. A person in the mode of ignorance is lazy and prone to sleep a great deal. Such a person cannot perform yoga. So it is regulated. Not that, Prabhu, I'm tired, In other words, next one. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta seta asya karmashu, yukta swapna avabodhasya, yoga bhavati dukkha. He who is regulated in the habits of eating, sleeping, recreation and work can mitigate all pains by practicing the yoga system. That extravagance in the matter of eating, sleeping, defending and mating, which are demands of the body, can block advancement in the practice of yoga. As far as eating is concerned, it is regulated only when one is practiced to take and accept prasadam. You cannot sanctify food. You cannot eat anything other than prasadam. Because if you eat anything other than prasadam, then definitely you are not practicing yoga, bhakti yoga. It is not possible. It's not possible. It's like trying to light fire and pour water. It will not work. Lord Krishna is offered according to Bhagavad Gita, vegetables, flowers, fruit, milk, grains, etc. In this way, a person in Krishna consciousness becomes automatically trained not to accept food not meant for human consumption or not in the category of goodness. As far as sleeping is concerned, a Krishna conscious person is always alert in the discharge of his duty in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, any unnecessary time spent in sleeping is considered a great loss. Avyakta kalatvam. A Krishna conscious person cannot bear to pass a minute of his life without being engaged in the service of the Lord. Therefore, his sleeping is kept to minimum. His ideal in this respect is Srila Rupa Goswami, who was always engaged in the service of Krishna and who could not sleep more than 2 hours a day, and sometimes not even that. Haridas Thakur could not even accept prasadam, nor even sleep for a moment without finishing his daily routine of chanting with his beat 300,000 names. As far as work is concerned, a Krishna conscious person does not do anything which is not connected with Krishna's interest, and thus his work is always regulated and is untainted by sense gratification. Since there is no question of sense gratification, there is no material leisure for a person in Krishna consciousness. And because he is regulated in all his work, speech, sleep, wakefulness and all other bodily activities, there is no material miseries for him. See? So the moment you become free from your eating, sleeping, mating, defending, then you are also free from your material miseries. But it is not that we abstain. No, we eat, but we only eat one. Krishna Prasad. You understand? We sleep, yes, 6 hours. Because we have Krishna conscious wife and produce Krishna conscious children. And defending, what to defend? Krishna is going to protect us. You follow? So this is how the process works. It's further explained, this point. It is explained here. So in this verse, Atyaraha, Prayasascha, Prajalpo Niyamagraha, Janasangascha, Lavlyamcha, Satpir Bhakti Vinashati. See, one devotional service is spoiled when it becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more fun than required. Is that? Over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain, talking unnecessarily about mundane subject matters, practicing the scriptural rules and regulations only for the sake of following them and not for the sake of spiritual advancement, or rejecting the rules and regulations of the scriptures and working independently or whimsically. 5. Associating with worldly-minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. And 6. Being greedy for mundane achievement. You see that? Then one has to become very careful in spiritual life. Not that he's given a green light just because he's Hare Krishna. I know every Krishna will protect us, no, we can do anything. Many devotees get into this kind of consciousness because they think they're Krishna conscious, so they have become immune to everything. Not a fact, because the Prabhupada said it's like walking on a razor edge, and a slight sleep you can cut. You follow? So we have to be very careful. It's further explained here. According to nature's arrangement, living entities lower on the evolutionary scale do not eat or collect more than necessary. Consequently, in the animal kingdom, there is generally no economic problem or scarcity or necessity. If a bag of rice is placed in a public place, birds will come to eat a few grains and go away. A human being, however, will take away the whole bag. He will eat all his stomach and whole and try to keep the rest in storage. According to the scripture, this collection of more than necessary atyara is prohibited. Now the entire world is suffering because of it. Collecting and eating more than necessary for curses also causes priyasa or unnecessary endeavor. By God's arrangement, anyone in any part of the world can live peacefully if he has some land and a milk cow. There is no need for man to move from one place to another to earn a livelihood. For one can produce food grain locally and get milk from cows. That can solve all economic problems. Unfortunately, man has been given high intelligence for the cultivation of Krishna consciousness, or the understanding of God, one relationship with Him, and ultimate goal of life, love of God. Unfortunately, so-called civilized man, not caring for God realization, utilizes intelligence for getting more than necessary and simply eat to satisfy the tongue. It's a fact. Now the whole world, so much of eating, correct? Everywhere is only what? Restaurants, what? Fast food joints, everywhere. Now not only that, in the comfort of your house, you just dial some numbers and someone will come and drop it off. Is it not? Huh? In Philippines, I was shocked. I just came back from Philippines, and they have this, this is roasted piglet. Have you seen that? The Chinese, they roast this little pig, and they usually put an apple on the mouth. Have you seen that? And this was, a fast delivery, I expect some hamburgers or something. But this has been fast delivered. And they have a special container at the back of the motorcycle just to feed in this, piglet. Normal is square, right? But this is square and elongated. Just to slip in the pig. I was stunned, to what extent these guys are going to do so much of sinful activities. It was very disturbing. You understand? So, this is the problem because of easily available cash. So they can do anything they like. They do anything they like. You understand? We read on. By God's arrangement, there is sufficient scope for the production of milk and grains for human beings all over the world. But instead of using his high intelligence to cultivate God consciousness, so-called intelligent men misuse their intelligence to produce many unnecessary, unwanted things. Thus, factories, slaughterhouses, brothel, liquor shops are open. If people are advised not to collect too many goods to eat, too much to work, unnecessarily to possess artificial amenities, they think they have been advised to return to primitive way of life. Generally, people do not like to accept plain living and high thinking. This is their unfortunate position. It's a fact. Now, you go to what? eBay. You go to Amazon. What? Everything is... and they deliver to you. Yes or not? Right? You see how much things they are buying and buying and buying and buying. I don't know what to do with this. So many things, unnecessary. Karmis labor to accumulate more and more money for future generations only because they do not know their future position. Interested only in getting more and more money for their sons and grandsons, such foolish persons do not even know what their position is going to be in the next life. There are many incidents that illustrate this point. Once the great Karmi accumulated a vast fortune for his sons and grandsons. But later, according to his karma, he took his birth in a cobbler's house located near the building which in his previous life he had constructed for his children. It so happened that when his very cobbler came to his former house, his former sons and grandsons beat him with shoes. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? In his previous life, he built a big building. And in the next life, he became a cobbler. And the sons of the former son, they beat him with those shoes. So So you see, unless the karmis and jnanis become interested in Krishna consciousness, they will simply continue to waste their life in fruitless activities. So therefore, we should be very careful in trying to enjoy the senses. In fact, once you enjoy the senses, you will only go into sinful activities. When you enjoy the senses, you go into sinful activities. Is that? What is that? Five what? Nunam pravarti. See here, it is explained. Moment you try to enjoy the senses, then you only become, when a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, you suddenly become mad of the materialistic living and engage in all kinds of sinful activities. It just correlates. The moment you try to enjoy your senses, then you become crazy. First thing, become bewildered, crazy. Huh? And then you will do all kind of sinful activities. As I say, money is the root cause of all. You understand? So we are not joking, when a person starts thinking that, I want to make money, and I'll give something to Krishna. This consciousness is very polluting. Krishna doesn't require a little bit of throwing in. He is God. In fact, He is throwing it to you. It's not the other way around. You don't need to throw to Him. He is throwing it to you. Are you following? Are you following? Huh? He does not know that due to his past misdeed, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken a material body, but he been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it is not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again and in activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets material body one after another. Sense gratification is the cause of all suffering. Sense gratification is the cause of all suffering. Understand? In fact, the scriptures warn. The scriptures warn. What is that? The scriptures warn us. You can see, life's purpose should not be engaged in sense gratification. Dharmasya Pavargasya 1:6. Kamasya Nendriya Prati. 1 to 10. Dharmasya apavargasya nartortyopakalpate natasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhaya esmitaha. All occupational engagements are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, according to sages, one who is engaged in ultimate occupational service should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. See how important this is? Should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. You follow? The sense gratification is restricted. It is very much restricted in the human form. That's why the word tapasya is used. So next verse it says, how we should live. It says here, kamasya nendriya priti labho jivita yavataha jivasya tattva jigyasa nato yascheha karma bir. See, life desire should never be directed towards sense gratification. One should desire only a healthy life or self-preservation. Since the human being is meant for inquiry about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. Understand? So the Brahminical order is to always live with what? Simple living, high thinking. Enough. Not to be extravagant. That's never recommended in our life. So when we try to limit our sense gratification, then we control. Because austerity is very important. That's why it says here, there are 551. Rishabhdeva told his son, my dear boys, of all living entities who have accepted material body in this world, one who has avoided this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. One should engage in penance and austerity to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified and one attains the position when one attains this position, he attains eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to material happiness, which continues forever. So that is the purpose. We want to have what? Eternal life. We don't want to be in the temporary life. That is not what we are meant for. That's why austerity is important. So when you practice austerity, you come to the mode of goodness. And when you come to the mode of goodness, durapaha, where is it? Durapaha. See, when you practice this austerity, it says here, persons whose austerity is meager can hardly obtain the service of pure devotees. This is very important because association is what is required. If your austerity is zero, especially meat eaters, there is no way they can approach the Lord. The Lord blocks. It is not that they can, it's just block. You understand? You cannot, although it is so available, devotees walking in the street, they're seeing everything, but why they're not coming? Because the Lord blocks the intelligence. Understand? So you have to have purity. And purity comes to austerity. Austerity means controlling the tongue, controlling the senses, everything is controlled. And when you learn how to keep them under control, then there's a chance you meet the pure devotees. Yes? And when you meet the pure devotees, then what happens? You can see here, once you get in touch with the pure devotees, 14 is it? Susru Sradhan. Oh, it is 16. You see here, by engaging both twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely free from all vice, great service is done. By such service one gains affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. So then only you develop the taste, you get the taste for Krishna consciousness, you get the taste for hearing, you get the taste for all these things. This thing does not come just by independent, you are independent thing, you're free for life, do whatever I like, and that way you become a devotee. That's bogus. That doesn't work like that. That's why Prabhupada has given a very simple formula for us. What is that? Chanting 16 rounds. Following the four principles. No meat, no fish, no egg, no onion, no garlic, no coffee, no tea. That's why with the Indians all coming, the first thing they say, no, I'm pure vegetarian, I'm pure vegetarian. I ask them, you pure vegetarian? You take onion and garlic? Oh, that I do. Oh, then that means I'm not so pure. And then you take coffee, oh, yeah, I also do. So that means you're not completely pure. That's why they cannot make progress. When you are not following strictly, then how you can make progress? You understand? It is not a cheap program. Otherwise, millions of vegetarians, all the monkeys also vegetarian, the bird, pigeon, all should become devotees. It is not that because you're vegetarian. You understand? You have to learn how to practice austerity of taking Krishna prasadam, associating with it. This is the key of getting out of the material world. That's why Dhruva Maharaj, a 5 years old boy, he asked to go and do austerity. Was he asked to go to the forest to play? Make some sun castles and call some boys there, have fun. Did he do that? Did he do that? You know, he's 5 years old boy, he's told, you go there and do this austerity. Every third day he was eating. You can do that? I mean, you create havoc. You know, there will be mutiny. Don't say we just cook khichdi 3 days, they'll be fighting already. 3 days khichdi is enough, not 3 nights, 3 days. Why? Because we are so accustomed to eating luxuriously, we cannot control the tongue. You follow? But spiritual life means we have to cut down our eating. Understand? There's a whole thing about this. I think it is in the 11. Can you help me? 11:19. I think it's 32, 33 or something. (11:19) behavior of the saintly person. 11:19. What is that? You can see here how a behavior of the saintly person is regulated, you know. 33, 34, I think. 36 to 39, right? 33 to 35. No, but there's a place where he doesn't need so much. What key? You should not eat too much and all that. Saintly person. Do not eat too much.
The only mention is that steadfastness.
I think it is in 11. In 11. Yeah, 11, 29, 32. So I can see here, we'll read this. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O Uddhava, a saintly person is merciful and never injures others. Even if the others are aggressive, he is tolerant and forgiving toward all living entities. His strength and meaning in life come from the truth itself. He is free from all envy and jealousy, and his mind is equal in material happiness and distress. Thus he dedicates his time to working for the welfare of all others. His intelligence has never been bewildered by material desires, and he has controlled his senses. His behavior is always pleasing, never harsh, and always exemplary, and is free from possessiveness. He never endeavors in ordinary worldly activities. He strictly controls his eating. Is that right? He strictly controls his. You understand? Huh? He therefore always remains peaceful and steady. A saintly person is thoughtful and accepts me as his only shelter. Such a person is very cautious in the execution of duty and is never subject to superficial transformation. Because he is steady and noble, even in a distracting situation, he has conquered over the 6 material qualities, namely hunger, thirst, lamentation, illusion, old age, and death. He is free from all desire for prestige and offers honor to others. He is expert in reviving the Krishna consciousness of others, and therefore he never cheats anyone. Rather, he is well-wishing friend to all. Being most merciful, such a saintly person must be considered the most learned of men. He perfectly understands that the ordinary religious duty prescribed by me in various Vedic scriptures possess favorable quality that purify the performer, and he knows that neglect of such duty constitutes a discrepancy in one's life. Having taken complete shelter at my lotus feet, however, a saintly person ultimately renounces such ordinary religious duties and worship me alone. He is thus considered to be the best among all living entities. You understand this point? Huh? So you can see how Dhruva Maharaj, we cannot follow these things, but at least we can follow one thing. We can follow what Srila Prabhupada has given us. A simple program. Chant 16 rounds and follow the 4 principles. That's it. And associate with the devotees, attend the morning program, read the books regularly, and only take Krishna prasadam. If you try to eat anything and everything, then it's going to be difficult. Alright? So Dhruva Maharaj showed by example. Of course, we cannot copy his kind of austerity. Don't try also. You probably end up in the, we pay more money, hospital bill. Right? So you do this basic things. Alright? So we will stop here. Any questions or comments on this verse? Any questions? No questions? Any question from the back?
I asked them many questions, I'll pass on. I'm just waiting for a reply.
How many are online?
8.
8 online. Peak live viewers 13. Minutes view. Alright, there's no questions. We'll switch off our video. Thank you very much.